What is going on, Houston, Texas? If I were to tell you about my day-to-day, you wouldn't believe it. Woke up this morning. First of all, last night, I'm always like a deep sleeper. Like, it doesn't take me much to go to sleep. It doesn't take me much to have a full night of sleep. I don't wake up in the middle of the night. Last night, man, kept waking up. Didn't actually go to sleep till 2 in the morning. Had a soccer game this morning. When I woke up, felt like crap because I hadn't got enough sleep, man, and considered not going, but I said, nah, I need to get this cardio in. Let me go get this done. Let me go start off my day good. Twisted my ankle. Had another guy step on my right foot. Big bruise I got. Whatever, just crappy morning in the soccer field. And so I head home, man, looking forward to this Aaron Wilson interview as promised with you guys, and I'm trying to just put everything else behind me, the night's sleep, the soccer game, and just get ready for this interview. Start off with, going through Zoom, and I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I've done this with Skype with Mike Meltzer, and it recorded just fine. The audio recorded just fine. So unfortunately, guys, I don't have any audio with Aaron Wilson, but the good thing is we'll be working on doing this again with him and trying to get audio. In the meantime, I'm going to put the video right here. Let you guys, kind of watch it to see that it actually did happen and we just couldn't get any audio. But ultimately, man, there was a lot of interesting things that were discussed and that I'm really wanting to bring to you guys as news. So definitely a great conversation to have with Aaron Wilson. As you guys know, Aaron Wilson is a beat writer for the Houston Chronicle. Started here in 2015, a year into OBrien's regime here with the Houston Texans. Prior to that, he was with the Baltimore Ravens, I think, for over 14 years. Went through with them their 2 Super Bowl championships. Broke the Ray Lewis story with the casino. And we got to talking about that. He was mentioning to me the amount of stress that people don't realize that being a beat writer really is, especially in this age where information travels quite fast. He said back in the day, you'd be able to get a tip on a story and, you'd be able to type that up that night, that morning, be released in the newspapers, obviously. But now, they have to be on their toes trying to, not only get confirmation of this tip and the story, but get quotes obviously from the people involved, and then I actually posting about it. So he definitely says that part of the job is stressful, and I believe it. Because even just being a YouTube content creator, sometimes you get crap on your channel, or sometimes you get a million questions, or sometimes the questions that are being asked you can't get right to them because obviously you're asleep, or it's a different time in someone else's country, or whatever the case may be. But talking and comparing, we started talking about Kubiak. His relationship with Kubiak. Obviously, he didn't cover him when he was with the Texans, but he did cover him when he was with Baltimore. So, talked about how great of a guy Kubiak is, how chill he is, how much of an importance he puts into having relationships with people that he's, constantly involved with. And then, we pivoted that to the comparison of Bill O'Brien and, everything that he's been. Obviously, you can tell from his press conference, from him cursing fans, that he has quite a temper, quite an urge to seek control of almost everything that he's involved with. And so we kind of just asked Aaron about his relationship with Bill O'Brien, and he went to state about the difference, right? The fact that obviously he's a competitor, and that sometimes, especially after games that he's lost, doesn't put him in the greatest mood. Doesn't seem like he's in the best mood to talk about it, that game. And then especially when you're questioning some of the moves that he's done. So we started talking about that, and obviously we recognize that Bill O'Brien, obviously whatever game, post game, whether it's a Thursday night, a Monday night, or a Sunday afternoon or night, usually that Monday when he comes back and talks to the media, he's very apologetic. So he just described that his relationship is a respectful relationship between him and OBrien, but that's not the same with everyone in the media. And so that compared to his other relationships that he's had with other teams, obviously the relationship is a lot different. This one seems to be more of a mutual relationship. So we went right to the nitty gritty, man. We started talking about Mr. Jamal Adams. And the reason we started talking about that is obviously he covered the Baltimore Ravens. We started talking about Nick Caserio and the reason why Nick Caserio did not come to the Houston Texans. His response to that was apparently there was a clause that neither the Texans or anyone else was aware that New England basically had in his contract that he could not be a GM for any other team but them. So that was interesting. Obviously, you guys, the Patriots were putting tampering charges on the Texans to try when they were trying to go get Nick. And when he extended, it really left a lot of people questioning what went there. So he just definitely confirmed that, obviously, besides that clause and besides the fact that a lot of people in the National Football League talk, looks like Brian Gaine has a lot of friends, and somehow that information of his relationship with Bill O'Brien got to Nick Caserio's ear, and obviously he made a decision that was in the best for his career. And we started talking about how young Nick Caserio is, and the fact that the new GM that is now with the Ravens, how he was just an area scout, and these people, they don't want to leave great organizations, so what they do is they just continue to grow within the organizations, and eventually they get the shot that they want. And so with Nick Caserio, it looks like he's aiming to eventually have full control once Bill Belichick decides to move forward. But that got us to talking about obviously Joe Douglas, who used to be the GM with the Ravens and is now with the Jets, and of course Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams obviously has came out blatantly and said, I do not want to play for you Jets. You guys do not want to pay me, trade me. Here's a list of teams that I want to go to. I asked him about the possibility of the Texans making a move for Jamal Adams. He gave it a 0%. He didn't think that Jamal Adams' character, the way that he basically carries himself, is something that the Texans are looking to add. So I found that quite interesting. And then we pivoted to obviously his tweet about saying, I love you, Houston. Apparently, Jamal Adams has some type of business with luxury cars here in Houston, and he had just actually finished writing an article about that. And that's the reason why he had tweeted that. So that's obviously good to know, because, man, it just seemed like everybody was just like overhyping this. And look, I wanted Jamal Adams as much as you guys did, but Aaron Wilson does not give it a shot. So that obviously made me question what John McClain earlier this week went to talk about on Radio 610. Where he said Texas will be bringing in 5 players, one of them being a safety, one of them being a lineman, defensive lineman, one of them being an offensive lineman. And Aaron Wilson believes besides the defensive lineman contract that they're looking to get with someone out there in free agency, the rest of the players will be just somebody that they see in depth. So we got to talking about Eric Murray, and he actually just wrote a column about Eric Murray and his relationship with Justin Reid. Justin Reid and Eric Murray have actually worked out before. Justin Reid is very high on Eric Murray, and the reason that the team is so high on Eric Murray is he highlighted 2 plays. One, which was a sack with Tom Brady, and then another one I think was a hit on Brandon Cooks, ironically. And those are the 2 things that the Texans saw as thing that they could either develop or use in a way that other teams might not have been using. And so obviously his problem has been health. We got to talking about that. Then Eric Wilson basically said, look, this is going to be your starter. Eric Murray is getting starter money, even though Wilson feels like it's not a big contract. He still feels like they are paying him starter money, and that is going to be your starter. He basically said that the corner speed that he has, the Texans feel like that will work great in the safety room, which I find ironic because Kareem Jackson, to me, had that type of speed. Tyrann Mathieu, to me, had that type of speed. And we talked about that. The very, cringing, I would say, a questionable moves that Bill O'Brien has done, all to put themselves in a win-now mode. We started talking about the Texans being in a win-now mode. It's nothing new. I'm sure that you already know it by all the moves that they've made. But ultimately, what Aaron Wilson and I started talking about, I asked him about the Texans, why the culture here doesn't seem to align with other cultures that he's been around, whether it's been the Baltimore Ravens or when he was out in Washington and other teams that he used to basically report for. And, he basically said, look, Bill O'Brien has been on a power struggle. First, it was Rick Smith. Then it was, I can't recall his name, but Brian Gaine. And, now he's really in full control. And obviously, that's also one of the things that we discussed with Nick Caserio as to why he didn't want to come, is because, and this is what he said, O'Brien is not a guy that he's looking to bring in people to work with him. He is the type of guy to bring in people to work for him. So this confirms a lot of the things that a lot of people criticize Bill O'Brien on. And it's sad to hear, man, because as much as he tries to portray in his meetings that he's working, that this is a team effort and all this, at the end of the day, we know who's calling the shots. That's why really he made the trades that he did this year. He talked about the power struggles between O'Brien and Clowney, the power struggles between O'Brien and D-Hop, the Aaron Colvin release and stuff like that. And that was just, just true power struggles between O'Brien just not getting along with a certain player and saying it's time to move him on. So very interesting. I think before we actually started the meeting, he started talking about, he was just writing a column, or you guys might have just already seen the tweet. I haven't actually been on Twitter, trying to put this video out, but that basically the Texans are telling players not to no longer work out with each other. I think this is more related to the D-Hop situation, with him still being in Houston, still trying to be around Texans players. But hey, man, seems that power struggle is not going to end between him and D-Hop until D-Hop begins to begin his season with the Arizona Cardinals. Why he's still in Houston, not sure. Could be a problem with him selling his home. Maybe he doesn't want to sell his home, and this is more like his vacation place. I mean, I don't know Arizona, but I don't think there's much to do in Arizona, right? I mean, do they even have a NBA basketball team? So, and then I asked him two questions. Does he see the Texans winning or getting to the AFC Championship? Flat out said no. One of the things that I admired about him on this interview was that he really just let the emotions aside. And then my following question to him to finalize the interview was, does he think the Texans are going to win the AFC South? And he said, yeah, they'll win the AFC South, but they'll probably go down again in the divisional round. So, man, crazy things to hear about what the Texans are currently doing, currently going on in that building. And, man, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I truly apologize to you guys that I could not get the audio working. I'm as pissed as you are about it, but I hope that maybe I can schedule another day with him and talk Texans, and we can do it right this time and get that audio for you. In the meanwhile, look, there's the proof. The interview did take place, and hey, if you want to tweet him or ask about all the things that I've said on this channel, feel free to do so. Got nothing to hide. Hey, you know what it is, baby. It's H-Town. To all you guys that are fathers, tomorrow's Father's Day, man. So happy Father's Day to you. You guys take it easy. Take care. H-Town, baby.